In the news tonight, workers urged to strive towards higher productivity. Today is International Stuttering Awareness Day. Police clash with National Health Insurance Scheme workers in Abuja over suspended executive secretary. And on the foreign scene, Italian police to patrol Alpine border over alleged hostile acts by French officials. Good evening and thanks for joining us on ABS News. I am Franklin Onyekachi. Now the news in details. Local government council workers have been charged to strive towards increased productivity. This call was made at the Local Government Service Commission Auditorium, Oka, during a program tagged Display of Productivity Charter. Valentine Mbadora has the details.
Has in attendance 3 local government councils, including Oyi, Orumba North, and Njikoka, featured the display of both agricultural and general goods produced by each council area. In an opening remark, the chairman, Local Government Service Commission, Anambra State, Dr. Peter Egenti, reassured of greater commitment of the commission towards encouraging the councils and explained that the aim of initiating the productivity charter was to improve in all ramifications the performance of all the staff at the respective council areas. Dr. Egenti, who advised that the staff in all council areas should be part of the initiative, noted that the program should go beyond revenue generation and increase productivity for the local government to equip the individual staff for the future as the program accommodates skill acquisition, workshops, and other capacity building trainings, which he said will help unlock hidden talents of the staff.
The aim of the campaign is to increase productivity among the staff, productivity in their work schedule. But we also encouraged entrepreneurship because it is something that is worth doing, because it will help the staff prepare them for post-service life.
Also speaking, a former commissioner for education and member 1 Local Government Service Commission, Dr. Mrs. Ujo Keke, while expressing satisfaction with the current performance of local government staff within the state, noted with confidence that more are yet to come as the program is a continuous exercise.
You don't have to wait for government. If you learn any trade, whatever you learn, you will benefit. You'll be getting money. So we have to do things ourselves. Entrepreneurship. We encourage people to do that so that they will earn a living. You don't have to wait all the time for government.
Displaying their products, the head of local government administration, Orumba North, Mr. Chike Obuekwe, and the director of Agric Department, Oyi Local Government Area, Sir Charles Mweke, assured of more commitment, noting that the initiative had made positive impact on their respective council areas, adding that the communities under their watch has begun to feel their impact as some of the products are being used in places like health centers and schools, among others.
I've moved out from sitting in the offices doing work. Okay? We now move into seeing the people of local government as our clients. When treating as our clients, you need to treat them very well. And if you have a client, everything that is either you pay the client or the client pays you.
It's entrepreneurship, which is an aspect of productivity. But if there is some entrepreneurship, the local government, that's why the commission is wise in their thinking in introducing it into the system to improve the service delivery.
Display of some of their products, including bags made of beads, sweater made out of locally sourced raw materials, ulcer medicine, perfumes, agricultural produce, custard, soaps of all kinds, car wash materials, amongst other numerous products featured at the event. In Oka, Valentine Mbadora reporting for ABS News.
The international community is observing today as Stuttering Awareness Day. The awareness, which began in 1998, spearheaded by Michael Sugarman of Oakland, California, in the United States of America, recognizes the growing alliance between speech-language professionals and consumers who are learning from each other and working together to share, give support, and educate one another and the public on the impact that stuttering has on individual lives. Speaking on the significance of the day, the head of editing unit of the Anambra Broadcasting Service, Comrade Emeka Okoye, who stammers, recalled the numerous abuses received from the public and enjoined stutterers not to see themselves as disabled people, but individuals with uniqueness who can do all things. Contributing, Mr. Chukwujekwu Odogwu from Isiago in Awka South local government area revealed that repetition is the primary problem associated with those who stammers and appealed for mutual understanding from the citizenry, which the celebration seeks to address. Mrs. Ifomobi has been installed as the 9th president of the Rotary Club of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, District 9142. Mrs. Obi is an ace journalist and station manager of the Unizik FM. Chibuzo Obidike's report is taken from our studio.
Speaking during the event, the immediate past president of the club, Mr. Gideon Ezu, stated that Rotary provides service at both community and international levels, such as healthcare, reduction of hunger and poverty, as well as environmental sanitation and maintenance, among others. He said allows members to experience the fulfillment that comes from giving back to the society. Mr. Ezu listed some benefits of a Rotarian to include professional networking, personal growth and development, friendship, cultural diversity, good citizenship, family foundations, and ethical reorientation, which he noted are important in empowering young professionals.
The opportunity to serve, that's what you will get from Rotary. Opportunity to serve humanity. You are not serving yourself. You are not being self-centered or egocentric. No. You are serving entire humanity by devoting your time, your talent, and everything about you to be a good leader.
In her inaugural address, the new president of the Rotary Club of Awka District 9142, Mrs. Obi, said that today will remain indelible in it as it holds a remarkable achievement to her journey in the noble club, assuring that she will use the renewed vigor and determination to exceed the legacy laid in previous years and call for both financial and moral support towards realizing the laid-down project.
As exactly this day, Saturday, 20th October 2012, I was installed as the 3rd and 4th female president of this noble club. 6 years after, I'm taking the mantle again, on the same day, with renewed vigor and determination to exceed the legacy I laid 6 years ago. It is not easy to lead Rotary Club once, not to talk of twice. But with my love and compassion for humanitarian and selfless service to mankind, and sport to take action and be the inspiration as our team this year indicated. From the day I accepted to go this road again, I knew the task would not be an easy one. But with the absolute belief my club have on me to inspire them to touch the lives of communities through durable projects, I believe I and the new crop of executives will be that inspiration they wanted.
Responding on behalf of other awardees honored on the occasion, the Dean Faculty of Social Sciences, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Professor Stella Okonna, promised that the gesture will continue to spur her to do more for the society.
I will say to the Rotary Club of Awka University that you are blessed to have my station manager as your president. She's awesome in commitment and loyalty and hard work. She's so diligent that those who are working under her will tell you any day, give us ETOB, and you're sure whatever you're doing will get the kind of support you require to succeed. Congratulations.
The installation drew members of the Rotary Club within and outside the state. The club, which is an international service organization, is aimed at bringing together business and professionals to provide humanitarian services, encourage high ethical standard in all vocations, and to advance goodwill and peace around the world.
Government has been urged to take proactive measures to improve the living standard of Nigerians. The Anglican Bishop of Ihiala Diocese, the Right Reverend Professor Israel Okoye, made a call as a Mary's Church Iseke during the second session of the Third Synod of Ihiala Diocese. The synod, which has its theme, Where Are You?, also attracted some government functionaries, church leaders, and captains of industry. Correspondent Ejike Abana covered the event and now reports.
his charge to delegates, the president of the Synod and Anglican Bishop of Ihiala Diocese, Right Reverend Professor Israel Okoye, cautioned people against discrimination or face the wrath of God, as according to him, God hates discrimination. Bishop Okoye, while calling for peace, justice and equity, raised salient issues in today's society, including poor standards of education, Nigerian workers' minimum wage, ravaging flood, and maintained a stand against same-sex marriage, among others. The Anglican prelate, while calling on government at all levels to address the market forces to boost the economy, urged workers to be productive, advising Christians to serve God based on his terms.
In a particular party, a young man had authority that whatever the primaries, they had the final say. Those who hide under church to commit havoc have special rules in hell. Because they hide under the brother of Jesus Christ. Our Lord does not want discrimination. When you run a state, some individuals come to hide under the cover of government to commit havoc.
Presenting a keynote lecture at the Synod, an ex-politician, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, spoke on strategies for raising a self-sustaining church, stressing that the church must not only preach salvation, but make strategic efforts to minister to the contemporary needs of the people. As a solution to the issue of retarded growth in the church, Chief Iwanyanwu called for the harnessing of people with gifts of prayers and prophecy, youth employment and skill acquisition, establishment of business departments in all the dioceses, as well as reordering of the will system where members are made to bequeath some of their assets to the church. The Chancellor of the diocese, Mr. Luke Ilogu, said that the Synod affords the church an ample opportunity for stock-taking about the challenges facing its administration with a view to move the church forward, and thanked God for the success of the event.
It's all about law and society. It's about giving and living out your Christian faith. And the question that has been posed is a question that concerns all of us as we continue this journey in the body of Christ. Ask somebody beside you, where are you?
The Registrar of Ihiala Diocese, Mr. Edmond Obiagu San, and the Chairman, Central Planning Committee, Venerable Uzo Amutigwe, appreciated delegates and others for making out time for the event.
The instructions and the advice and the words of encouragement contained in the presidential address, the works, the masterpiece, is all encompassing, just for people to look into it and heed the advice and the word of God there, because through that, we are sure to fulfill the purpose of God and the purpose of our creation.
The Anglican Bishop of Niger West Diocese, Right Reverend Johnson Ekwe, and his Obaro counterpart, Right Reverend Prosper Ama, were among those that attended the ceremony. Prayers, presentation of gifts, and singing of hymns featured at the event. From St. Mary's Church, Iseke Ihiala, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
Still on religious matters, Christians have been charged to sustain the work of evangelism to gain salvation. The resident priest, St. Gabriel's Catholic Church, Nodu Okbono, Reverend Father John Oremesi, gave the advice during a mass at the church. Amaka Chibuzo Okoye has the details.
Reverend Father Oremesi said that when they are persecuted for the cause of the gospel, they should trust in God and see it as their own cross and have a forgiving spirit so as not to be found wanting at the last day. He further charged those authorities to exhibit the character of true Christians and being responsive to the needs of the people, even as he asked the parishioners to support and donate resources for the progress of God's work in the church so that evangelism will continue.
To serve the people that go out on our politics, their vote will be to your vote. If you get our kids are going, let your ego now. Then send the ego overseas. About vote to keep the basic amenities, the roads, education.
at the Anglican Church of Resurrection, Amobia, the vicar, Reverend Prince Chukudum, called on those in corridors of power to see to the welfare of their subjects, as many are languishing in abject poverty. Reverend Chukudum stated that when everyone is meaningfully engaged and food is on the table of the poor, the society will be a conducive place for all. He reminded the church on the need to help the poor and focus on spiritual growth of members, and prayed God to reverse the situation of the nation for good.
Face themselves towards the poor. I think we will have a better future. I think something good will be mentioned in this country. If they can say yes, let us see these people.
Meanwhile, a special choir service was held at St. John's Anglican Church, Nise. In a sermon, the vicar of the church, Reverend Canon Udemba Eze, whose sermon centered on doing business with Christ, said that faithful servants live according to the directives of Christ and run the race as it pleases Christ. He lamented that many have deviated, seeking earthly wealth while abandoning the work of Christ, stressing that anyone who rooted his life in Christ will live fulfilled life. Reverend Canon Eze reminded the parishioners that at the second coming of Christ, all will give accounts of their stewardship, advising those running from pillar to post to desist as God answers prayer. Prayers were offered for the nation. Amaka Chibuzo Okoye, ABS News.
Workers at the headquarters of the National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, have clashed with the police allegedly protecting the suspended executive secretary of the scheme, Professor Usman Yusuf, who showed up at the office. The police, however, fired tear gas canisters at the workers and escorted the suspended executive secretary into his office. Yusuf was suspended by the governing council of NHIS, but ignored the resolution of the council. The workers had taken over the place at about 8 o'clock in the morning, but a team of police officers tried to dispel the workers as they led the suspended executive secretary to his office. The protesting workers were overpowered by the police, who fired tear gas canisters in the air to dispel them. Some of the workers sustained injuries as they scampered in different directions after inhaling the tear gas. Yusuf was last week suspended by the scheme's governing board for allegedly inflating the scheme's 2018 budget. In a press briefing last week, the board said it suspended Yusuf for fraudulently inflating the cost of biometric capturing machines, attempting to illegally execute 30 billion naira in federal government bonds, amongst others. It had also accused Yusuf of embarking on travels in defiance to council directive. Professor Yusuf was suspended by the Minister of Health in July 2017, but was called back by the presidency in February 2018. Chairman of the Governing Council, Dr. Iyantu Ifene, at a briefing in the scheme's headquarters Thursday last week, said, based on the review of various documents on allegations leveled against him, they have resolved to constitute an administrative panel to investigate and submit its reports in the next 3 months. Dr. Ifene added that the approval was gotten from the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewole. However, Yusuf had last week rejected his suspension by the board and has said that he will resume his normal duties today. But the workers who came out earlier today had blocked the entrance of the office in Abuja to prevent Yusuf from gaining access into the premises. And on business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has set the minimum capital requirement of 6 billion naira for the operation of mortgage guarantee companies, MGC, in the country. In an exposure draft posted on its website, it pointed out that the licensing of MGC would deepen the mortgage banking subsector through increased market access to mortgage finance and sharing of credit risk with mortgage lending institutions. By issuing guarantees to reduce or replace equity contribution, that would otherwise disqualify mortgagors from accessing mortgage as required by the Uniform Underwriting Standards. According to the central bank, the proposed regulation was aimed at ensuring that MGCs, when licensed, operate in a safe and sound manner on internationally acceptable principles, standards, and good practice in mortgage guarantee. The regulation, among other things, stipulates the basic requirements for the MGC's principal line of business of guaranteeing mortgages for lenders based on the security of residential mortgage assets and sets the capital requirements, including minimum paid-up capital, as well as permissible investments and liquidity requirements. Essentially, the regulation bars the MGCs from acceptance of demand, savings, and time deposits or any other type of deposits, as well as from financing real estate construction or management of pension fund schemes. It is also prevented from granting consumer, commercial, or mortgage loans, among other restrictions. And on the entertainment world, veteran actors Richard Mofe-Damijo and Joke Silva have emerged winners at the 14th edition of the African Movie Academy Awards, AMA, in Kigali, Rwanda, while RMD emerged the overall best actor in a leading role for his role in Crossroads. Silva bagged the best actress in a supporting role award for her character in Potato Potato. AMA was established in 2005, aimed at facilitating the development and relevance of African film and cinema by providing a reward and recognition platform for filmmakers on the continent. The award is the most prestigious award in Africa, showcasing and rewarding great talents in the film industry. It has since become the most competitive event in the African movie world. And on the foreign scene, Italy is sending police to patrol its border with France in the Alpine village of Clavier after what is called hostile acts by French officials. Rome is accusing French customs agents of dropping off migrants in Italian territory without giving Italian authorities the chance to process them or check if they had crossed into France from Italy. Italy's Interior Minister Matteo Salvini posted a video on Facebook showing French police entering Italian territory in the Alpine village of Clavier and leaving a group of people thought to be African migrants on a road. Salvini warned that relations between the two neighbors risk being seriously damaged. Salvini's French counterpart, Christophe Castena, said that he plans to meet Salvini very soon and hopes the solution to the problem will be found in cooperation rather than opposition. Salvini said he looked forward to meeting, but stressed that Italy will continue to patrol the borders. France legally returns hundreds of asylum seekers to Italy every year under Dublin Agreement, which requires migrants to file their application in the first European country they enter. And on sports, hosts of the 2018 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, Ghana, have been handed a tricky group as they were drawn to face Cameroon and Mali in Group A. The Black Queens will also take on Algeria following the draw for the African Women Football Competition on Sunday night. Title holders Nigeria got what looks like a favorable group as they face South Africa, Zambia, and Kenya in Group B in the coastal city of Cape Coast. The Black Queens will play the opening match of the competition on November 17 when they take on Algeria at the Accra Sports Stadium, Ghana. Ghana will play Mali 3 days later before wrapping up their group campaign against Giants Cameroon on November 23 in Accra. The Super Falcons, 8 times winners of the competition, will open their campaign on November 18 in Cape Coast before tackling Zambia at the same venue 3 days later. They will complete their group phase matches with their clash with Kenya on November 24. The top 2 sides in the groups will progress to the semi-finals. The remains of engineer Nzubechukwu Epunem has been laid to rest at his hometown, Eziama Amici, in Nnewi South local government area. Theophilus Ukoha was there and now reports.
Late Nzube Chukwuepunem, who died at 32 until his sudden demise, was the CEO, IG Clothings and Designs, Oka. Eziamamichi village, friends and relatives were full of tears over the untimely and painful death of a man whom they described as a curator and a dogged entrepreneur. In a sermon during the burial service, the resident pastor Dunamis Church, Oka, Mr. Benjamin Enenche, described late Nzube Chukwuepunem as a humble and God-fearing man. While explaining the theme, what really matters in life, Pastor Enenche advised all to live their lives with the fear of God and with eternity in view.
It doesn't matter. Everybody hates their boss. Doesn't matter. Everybody hates their money. Doesn't matter. Everybody hates their achievement. Doesn't matter. Everybody hates their money. Can be a professor with 10 degrees. At that point, it doesn't matter.
In his tribute to the deceased, the state head of service, Mr. Harry Odo, said late Nzube Chukwu was a gentleman who impacted positively on all those who came across him. Mr. Odo charged the bereaved families to bear the irreparable loss with fortitude.
At the time, he was rejoicing over the birth of his little child. Days of we had to serve. Well, I don't know. There's nothing we can do. You can't question God. You can't question God. It is with His will that happens.
On his part, an Agric Extension Director, said Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Aguncha, lamented the untimely death of Mr. Epunem and charged his family members to ensure that the legacies he left behind remain a blessing to them. For the parents of the deceased, Mr. and Mrs. Emmanuel Epunem, the demise of their son is a big blow, very hard to bear, but said they have taken consolation in God. In an interview, the younger brother of the deceased, Mr. Nnadozie Epunem, who quoted Proverbs chapter 10, verse 7, said, the memory of their brother Nzube Chukwu will turn to be a blessing.
Something to do from the future. Like, take a future. So you have something to go from. The little I know you, she's 211 or 212 to the school, come back to the day.
The remains of late engineer Nzube Chukwuepunem was later laid to rest. Theophilus Okoha reporting for ABS News.
That report concludes our news bulletin for tonight, but remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ABSRadioTelevision. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Now, the main points. Again, workers have been urged to strive towards higher productivity. Today is International Stuttering Awareness Day, and police have clashed with National Health Insurance Scheme workers in Abuja over suspended executive secretary. And on the foreign scene, we told you that Italian police is to patrol Appian border over alleged hostile acts by French officials. I am Franklin Onyekachi, thanking you for watching. Good night.